Good morning, traders. It's Tuesday, February the 26th. Taking a look at the charts, we got the SP 500. As you can see here, the market is continuing to grind up into or rally into this key resistance area in the market. More or less, this type of kind of narrow rising channel, this low volatility time, usually ends with an abrupt change in direction. We've had very similar narrow ranges in the past where the market gets up and when it breaks, it goes into a very strong waterfall type sell-off. So that is where we are at. Yesterday we came up and we tagged this previous pivot high. More or less, it's three significant pivot highs on the SP 500. It ended up selling back down. Today we're trading slightly lower, down about 1/4%. And at any point here, we are expecting some increased volatility. We could see it pop and break above here, but we do feel as though if it does that, it's going to get sold into, and we are expecting a more significant pullback in the equities market, which is why we are in an inverse ETF. Got our toe wet, may add on some type of big pop or reversal type of bar, anticipating a pullback in the equities market. Now, if we take a look at our current plays, NIO yesterday, big pop. It was covered on 60 Minutes on CBS as well. On the weekend, huge pop, up about 10% yesterday. We're now in the money here. Again, this was a weekly chart setup. More or less, if we go back to the weekly, you can see it's an IPO. It's in this range, and it's just starting to pop and break. We've got 976, I think, is our first target. It is trading higher this morning around 930, somewhere down around here. We'll see if it can get up to our first target. And we do have about a $12 target on here. If we can get some type of follow through, kind of blow off top where everyone piles in, we'll get out at that point. Looking over at Tech S, this is our inverse play. This is the weekly chart. It's narrow range. It's more or less just an inverse of the equities market of the tech sector. Let's go back to the daily chart. It is on the verge of a pop and a rally. This is a leveraged ETF, so it may not look like there's much potential, but there actually is quite a few, a couple dollars. We're looking at 10, 20% pop in price very quickly. That could happen in this ETF as just the market has a little overbought correction. If we look at the SP 500, let's just go back to the SP 500 and look at our 30-minute trend chart. We'll just zoom it over here. We've gone from an oversold market condition. It rallied up. We're above a little red hashtag here. And when we're above that red hashtag, the market usually sells down and corrects. You can see here we had a gap up yesterday. We faded back down to more or less fill that price gap. We're still in an overbought territory and we still have a downward bias in the market. So we could get some follow through selling today, which the NASDAQ and techs are down about almost 0.5%. So we are starting to pull back, and we'll see if it eventually breaks down and moves into our favor as we're expecting to. Moving over to the precious metals here. Gold, silver, they were down in pre-market. They're relatively flat now. They actually recovered. This is the daily chart. Let me just zoom out so you can see where we are. We're kind of lingering here with somewhat of a bear flag. We expecting some increased volatility where it could rally and pull back. We are expecting wide range here. There is potential for gold to pull down to the 1260 area still. Overall, we're just letting that market kind of work itself out. It's had a really nice run, and now it's at a key resistance area, and the dollar is poised and ready to rally at any point here, which would help pull the metals and miners down temporarily. Looking over at energies, natural gas. Natural gas continuing to move up today. We came down to this long-term support area. We're starting to get that. Yesterday we got that pop. Hopefully we'll see a bit more follow through and a run. We're getting close to this 3 mark. 290 and 3 is kind of our upside target. You can look at the price today. It's hit the high in pre-market, is also this low right over here. So we are getting to that point. We're about to hit $36 on UGAS, which I talked about. If we hit that, we might just pull the rest of our money off the table, close it out. Natural gas up 1.73% this morning, meaning UGAS should be up probably 4 or 5% more in pre-market here. Looking over at crude oil, up 0.116%, not much, relatively flat session. It's stuck at this resistance area, selling back down. It's stuck between the short-term floor and ceiling here, kind of ping-ponging around. Again, I don't see really a tradable setup. The trend is up, but it is at resistance, very significant resistance played over here as well. So I'm not a big fan of crude oil in playing a direction right there. Last but not least, let's just take a look over at Bitcoin. Bitcoin continues to try to build a base. If we look at the breakdown, it's still building a base, hasn't really made a series of higher highs yet. We're still below this previous standout low. More or less, it looks as though it's ready to pop and rally, but every time it looks like it's ready to pop, it looked like it was ready to pop here, it ended up breaking down. And it does feel like there's a momentum shift to the upside. It's had a rally, consolidation, rally, consolidation. We'll see if it can break this 4,000 mark and kind of get above this previous high around 4,100. If it can, then it might be on its way to the 5,000 mark very quickly. But overall, it's still trying to carve out a bottom. Sellers seem to be in control at this point, but it is trying to base. Anyways, that is it for this morning. I'll talk to you in a little bit. Bye-bye.